Alright. Everyone up. Forwards. Troops, I saw a bear here. Welcome to update 32 for Foxhole. I hope you've got your bayonets fixed and your gas masks tight, because welcome to trench warfare. First up, the home region has seen some significant changes. First off, it's been reorganized and reworked so that all the tutorials are now up to date. It also just looks a lot cooler. There's blades. Secondly, a new weapon is on the battlefield, the light machine gun. It carries a lot of the same characteristics as the regular machine guns, just lighter, so it can be fired while standing or at a walking pace. It's less accurate and has smaller belts, but in a pinch, it packs a punch. It does use the storm rifle ammo, or the 7.92 ammunition. Before killing ourselves in the trenches, let's talk about some of the new medical equipment first. The trauma kits and medical kits have been completely revamped. Now they are no longer infinite resources. Trauma kits will take something known as plasma. One case of plasma will refill a trauma kit for one use. After that, it must be replenished with more plasma. Medical kits are a little bit more complicated. Sure, bandages now act to supply them, and the same thing, one bandage will refill a medical kit for 10 uses. However, bandages still act as they did before, where you can use them to patch yourself up. So maybe bring two with you, one for the medical kit to stock up, and one for yourself in case you get hit. Additionally, when a soldier goes down, it now takes 30 seconds for them to bleed out. However, after 10 seconds, the soldier can opt to give up if the waiting is too long for them, or the suffering too intense. There is also the chance that after a soldier bleeds out, he becomes a critically wounded soldier. These critically wounded soldiers can be picked up by fellow soldiers or medics off the front lines if they can get to them safely. These critically wounded soldiers can be brought back immediately to the field hospital, or the new vehicle, the ambulance. The ambulance has two seats, the driver's seat and the passenger seat. These ambulances can be used for transporting critically wounded soldiers from the front lines to hospitals or field hospitals. They're also specially dedicated to stack medical equipment and other supplies. Also note that ambulances are not very fast or durable vehicles and can't run over sandbags or cross trenches. Now, the hospital is a world structure. You'll usually find them in towns and can be built up. The field hospital is a soldier-built one. When critically wounded soldiers are delivered to either the hospital or field hospital, they will take some time for them to be healed back up to full health. Once this happens, an assortment of soldier supplies will be found at the field hospitals or hospitals after their recovery. Essentially, this represents the soldiers getting fit and ready once again to return to the battlefield, and is totally not organ harvesting.
And yes, if you happen to find a critically wounded enemy on the ground, you can take them back to a medical facility for organ harvesting. I mean, prisoner interrogation.
Now that that's out of the way, let's get into trenches. Trenches are an entirely new set of buildings. First off, you'll need a shovel. Using this new tool, you can access a new set of build menus. At the moment, you'll see there are Tier 1 bunkers and Tier 1 trenches to build, and these are free fortifications to build. It costs nothing to build the very basic versions of them. So let's go ahead and select a trench. We can plop it down on any relatively flat terrain. However, it can be built on slight inclines and other kind of slopes. Once you've excavated your trench, you can add on to it. New pieces that you select can be snapped on, or if you hold the shift key, you can turn off the snapping magnet. So let's go ahead and place a bunker here. Also note that you can stand inside of trench and bunker pieces in order to excavate further trench and bunker pieces. So start off with a trench to give yourself some cover, and then build slowly laterally or even forward towards the enemy if you like. Now that this bunker is set up, notice that all the walls are intact and I can't actually get inside of it. So now, I'll break out my hammer. Note that the hammer now has a toggle mode. By pressing F, you can switch between the build mode and the upgrade mode for the hammer. So we'll need the upgrade mode for this one. Upgrade mode in the trench system allows you to modify trench pieces. So you can see here, I can upgrade my bunker to tier 2. I can put a rifle garrison in it. I can put firing windows for regular non-AI soldiers, doors, and pipes. Let's go ahead and put a door so I can actually get in here. Now these upgrades do cost basic materials, so be sure to bring some along when you're building a trench system. Alright, I've installed the doors, and now I can access this area. Let's go ahead and give this bunker some firing ports, so I can actually shoot out of it. Let's go ahead and add on to this bunker. I'm just going to strap another bunker piece right onto the side of this one. Notice now that you can create bunkers basically to your custom standard. If you want to make square-shaped bunkers, go for it. A giant rectangle bunker? You got it. Anything you can imagine. Just don't be stupid about it. So let's go ahead and give this bunker a rifle garrison. It'll take 50 BMATs, almost like a regular Foxhole. And from here, I can also upgrade the rifle garrison itself to tier 2. Or I could upgrade the basic bunker to tier 2 and then build a tier 2 rifle garrison directly into it. Whichever order you like, really. The trenches themselves also come with upgrades. These upgrades include upgrading the trench to tier 2 and then later tier 3, strapping barbed wire onto the front of it, which slows enemies down right before they enter the trench, a bridge that allows vehicles to cross over the trench. Of course, you'll maybe want to put these in well-defended areas so that enemy vehicles don't cross over your trenches, or pipes, much like the bunker pieces, but I'll explain pipes in a little bit. Now let me go ahead and upgrade this third bunker piece up to tier 2. My bunker's getting longer, you see. But now that we are at a tier 2 bunker piece, you can see that the upgrade menu has expanded. Now it includes all the things I listed before, but it also comes with the obvious upgrade to tier 3 bunker, but also an AT cannon. I shouldn't have to tell you that the AT cannon will be useful for stopping vehicles in their tracks. Now let's talk about the third tier of fortifications. This involves concrete. Concrete materials are a new form of materials. You'll need them to build any tier 3 trench system networks of any kind. A concrete mixer can be built at the construction yard. These must then be transported by cranes and then by flatbed trucks to the location you so desire. Now these concrete mixers require components in order to create concrete. You put the components right inside, and then the concrete mixers will do the work for you over time. Once you've got concrete in your inventory, then you can upgrade bunkers and trenches to tier 3. But that's not the only thing here. Concrete is, well, concrete. It takes time for it to dry. So, tier 3 bunkers cannot just be spammed anywhere you so please. You actually need to wait before these defenses are ready to go. Any drying concrete defenses will be damaged very easily, but once they've hardened, they'll be much more fortified.
Concrete will take about 24 hours to dry, so take some BMATs and go build yourself something pretty in the meantime.
Okay, now that we've talked about concrete, let's actually talk about what you can do with this. All the building and trench pieces I've listed earlier can be upgraded to tier 3. However, things like the rifle garrison and AT gun can only be manned by AI defenses if they have two things. Number one, they have to be in range of a forward operating base or town hall, much like any other defenses. Second of all, trenches require an engine room, or possibly several engine rooms in order to actually power the defenses. These engine rooms can only be built in tier 3 bunker sections. And then, not only that, the defenses must be connected to the engine rooms via pipe upgrades along bunkers and trenches. You can hold the Alt key to see which pieces of bunker and which pieces of trenches have actually had pipes installed in them. You'll see them in a yellowish outline. Also note that the engine rooms can only support defensive structures up to 20 pipe pieces away. Anything beyond that is far too far for them to supply. However, once you've jumped through all those hoops, these defenses are formidable. There's no two ways about it. Even rifle garrisons will fire inside of a bunker at you if they are properly supplied. However, there is one last thing you should know about bunker building. Bunkers trade size for structural integrity that affect the overall durability of your creations. Essentially, that means there is generally an optimal size for a bunker. You can create all sorts of wacky shapes, but if you just aim to make a bunker that is 20 bunker pieces long and 20 bunker pieces wide, it's simply not going to have the structural integrity of something that's a little more compact in shape. So just build
But make sure to
reasonably.
put your staff car in the garage and pack that umbrella, because we've got a 100% chance of storm cannon shells somewhere in the Siva Valley border territories.
Oh god.
That is a big gun.
Behold, the Storm Cannon. The Storm Cannon is a massive, absolutely massive artillery piece. It's a stationary piece that can be built on top of 9 bunker pieces, all stacked in a square formation. The Storm Cannon fires 300mm shells up to 750 meters away and devastates anything that it hits. It requires a tremendous amount of power from connected engine rooms, but man, is it fierce. You will hear this thing firing from any corner of any region where there is one in it. Just make sure your shots are on target, because turning the cannon will take up most of the cannon's energy. Firing it also takes up a lot of its energy, but not nearly as much. So make sure you have a good set of spotters for the cannon. Some other new features include 3 new types of relic bases have completely replaced forts. They're very tough structures with fully fleshed out interiors. Each base varies in size and toughness, and has integrated AI defenses. Sandbags also now come in curved shapes and snap together. All the walls and gates have had a visual overhaul, and can now snap together at either end as well. Proper suppression of AI defenses now works. Shooting AI defenses will suppress them. This is especially noticeable with light machine guns or any sort of machine guns, really. It reduces their rate of fire and eventually causes them to stop firing altogether so you can move up on their position. Different structures have different values of suppression. Some structures may take multiple players to suppress completely, so be sure you're attacking with a sizable force.
Ah, yes, AT gun. War crimes at their finest.
Some gameplay changes include squad windows can now be minimized, and there are more ways to sort out your squad window. You can kick offline squad members, and squad members can now assign someone as a squad leader if the squad leader is offline. Additionally, offline squads will now always appear below the online ones. New lore has been added, so happy hunting. The output of all resource mine now scales with player population. Barbed wire should have proper collision now so that you can't just skip through them like you could before. Some balances include components and sulfur fields now spawn every 6 hours with some variants, instead of every 8 hours, resulting in roughly a 33% increase in overall resources. Sunken pillboxes and bunkers, and Tier 4 walls, have now been removed from Foxhole since these have been replaced by the bunker and trench system. Light tanks have had their health increased by 20% and their petrol consumption rate reduced by 15%. Battle tanks have had their health increased by 10%, gun nests have had their small arms and explosive damage mitigation reduced, and their health increased slightly. Shotguns have had their range reduced by 50%, but let's be honest here, they'll still be good in trenches. Revolvers have had their range reduced by 30%. Satchel charge damage has been increased by 25%, again, very useful in trenches. Speed on trucks with low encumbrance now travel 20% faster than trucks that are over encumbered. All small arms and grenades now see the same distance when aiming, with the exception of course of the sniper rifle and the grenade launcher. Range of the rifle has been reduced by 10%, and the range of the carbine has been reduced by 7%. Some other smaller changes are that many parts of the world have been altered slightly to open up more valuable building areas. The most significant of these is the changes around Sickle Hill and the forests of Umbral Wildwood. Overall, there are just fewer bushes, and there has been improved interior lighting for some structures. There were also some bug fixes with this update, but I'll leave that for the patch notes down below. Descend into darkness, 303 days below the sun, fields of Siva, and the battle has begun. welcome to trench warfare once again. If you like what you saw in this video, like, subscribe, and share this with literally everyone on the battlefield. They all need to know about this. And as always, good luck, keep your heads down, and stay in your trenches. Bear out.
Oh yeah.
Holy Jesus.
Okay, just
Oh,
tell him
oh,
to find
who
the exact
died?
spot right here.
I got hit.